Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our community, to our channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new here, I'm Silkina, and I make videos on mindfulness, wellness, and realness. Today, we're going to be talking about self-care. I think the topic of self-care really came about during 2020 when the pandemic hit and everyone started to slow down. And even though it was really uncomfortable for a lot of people, they did realize the importance of slowing down and taking care of yourself and your mind, your body, your heart, your soul. And I guess we also found out that there are a lot of ways to take care of yourself. Of course, the common ways is like to have a bubble bath and, to treat yourself to facials and go to the spa, and all those things are really common, but that's not the only way to take care of yourself. And also, you don't always have to take care of yourself like in tangible ways. Things like forgiving yourself through difficult days, speaking kind words to yourself, being aware of your thoughts, like these are also ways of taking care of yourself, and these are ways to practice self-care as well. In this video, I'm going to share 15 simple activities that you can do every single day or every week to take care of yourself. And some of them are free, some of them are not, but all of them are fun, and that's what matters. Before we get into it, if you like videos like this, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content. Okay, let's get to the first tip. The first tip is to watch your favorite childhood cartoon show. I love this tip because it just reminds you of simpler times, right? When I watch old Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon TV shows, it doesn't have to be cartoons. Like, it reminds me of the time where I really wasn't doing anything but like watching in front of the TV and shutting out the world and just laughing and enjoying myself. And I guess that's another important thing too, which is, watching something that makes you laugh. So definitely do that. Pick your favorite cartoon show, watch it really mindfully, not while scrolling on your phone, not while doing anything else, but literally just watching it and see how it feels, if it makes you happy. All right, the second tip is coloring or painting. This used to be my favorite way of meditation because I can really switch off when I'm focusing on colors and like anything to do with like painting or like very creative artsy stuff. Definitely coloring or painting, again, brings out your inner child, and that's really important when you're taking care of yourself. You want to do things that brings you joy, and what better way to do that than doing things that you did when you were a kid, when nothing mattered except having fun. The third tip is to make fun beaded jewelry. I love jewelry, and what I love about this tip is having something tangible, like, if you make a bracelet, like something that you can see every single time that reminds you of the time that you were taking time out for yourself, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like creating this beautiful piece of art, whether it be a necklace or a ring or a bracelet or whatever it is, an earring, and wearing it and, feeling like, wow, when I created this piece of art, I was taking time out for myself, and I was, taking care of myself. And, it just kind of reminded you of a time where you did slow down. So making jewelry, it's also fun. Okay, the fourth tip is to treat yourself to a delicious cup of cozy beverage. This can be hot chocolate, matcha, tea, even coffee, or turmeric latte, whatever people are calling it, golden milk these days. So this I love because it nourishes your body. I don't live in a country where we have fall weather, but it does get a little bit gloomy and rainy towards the end of the year here in Indonesia. So I love when it's rainy outside, just treating myself to like a hot cup of hot chocolate and watching like a cozy movie. Like October, November, December are like my favorite months ever because of this aesthetic. Like, I don't like it for any other reason than just curling up under my bed and watching like a really cozy Halloween movie and drinking a hot cup of beverage. So yeah. The fifth tip is to have a fun vintage dance party. There is nothing that will transport you back to the fun times in your life than music. I love listening to like late 90s and early 2000 music because that was my like growing up era. But even listening to like 80s music and early 90s is really fun. And it just kind of puts you in such good mood. I don't know, like music these days, you know, some of them are like amazing bops, but sometimes after listening to current mainstream music, I don't feel good anymore. Like, I just don't feel that it uplifts me. I don't know if they're using like different sounds and frequencies these days, but I like listening to music that makes me feel good while I'm listening to it, but also after. There are a lot of songs these days that I listen to, and they're really good when I'm listening to it, but afterwards I'm like, what did I just listen to? What were the lyrics? I don't understand what they were feeding my brain. So just being aware of that as well, and listening to really good music that just makes your body feel good, and just have like a dance party. This is another way to kind of nourish your body and your soul as well, because music really allows you to tap back into your body and like clear your mind. And that's the whole point of self-care, is to not quiet the mind chatter completely, but to just like lower the volume. When we're anxious or we're feeling overwhelmed, usually it's when our mind is really activated, which is why dancing is just such a great way to take care of yourself, because you're sort of moving the energy from your mind to your body. Okay, the sixth tip is to explore your own city as a tourist. I love this. I remember the time when I explored Jakarta as a tourist. I went to like all the, you know, interesting touristy spot, and I even went to some museums, and I found it so fascinating. Like, oh my God, I'm learning about my own country and like my own city, like the history of this place, while also enjoying the city from like a fresh perspective and like a completely different lens. It's so easy to just forget like what are some of the interesting things to do in your city when you're here, and you just feel like you don't need to do that because we're so kind of stuck on like that mindset of, oh, I'm only a tourist if I'm traveling. But you could totally be like a weekend tourist in your own city. So this is something that I want to do more of now that things are a little bit better and like the restrictions are relaxed here in Indonesia. So yeah, I was kind of like creating this list, and I'm like, what are some of the fun things that I would like to do? And I'm like, yeah, I remember that one time that I had so much fun exploring my own city. And I feel like that's a way to kind of take care of yourself and, you know, just eat really great food. Maybe you want to kind of, you know, check out the coffee scene or the food scene. Jakarta has amazing street food. So these things are just such a fun way to spend time with yourself while also learning something new. Which brings me to my next tip, and that is to learn something new. There's nothing better when it comes to taking care of yourself than opening up your heart and mind to learn new things. So maybe you've been curious about energy healing or crystals or tarot. Maybe this is your sign. Or it could be as simple as reading a new book. You know, like just basically feeding your mind and I guess your soul as well with new information, and, you know, just seeing life or a certain thing from a different perspective is always a great idea of practicing self-care, because ideally you are just opening your heart up to new knowledge, and that's always a great thing. You'll never regret learning something new. Like, you'll never look back and be like, I wish I didn't learn that. So this is a sign to learn something new. All right, the next tip, I don't even know, what number are we at, like 9? I don't know. The next tip is to go for a photo walk. I love photography because there is nothing that brings you back to the present moment. When you set an intention that you're going to go on a photo walk and just capture beauty through a lens, you will bring yourself back to the present moment by taking photos of these beautiful things. So photography is such a great way of just seeing life from a different lens, and also by setting intentions that you want to take photos of, like, you know, beautiful things like flowers or nature or even people. Like, it's just such a great way to bring yourself back to the present moment. All right, next is to write a letter to your past or future self. You can write a letter to your inner child and, you know, tell her that she's done a really great job and look at where we are right now. Like, we've accomplished so much. And you could also write a letter to your future self talking about how, you know, in the present moment, you're taking care of yourself to get to where she is, right? Because your future self already exists and all you have to do is kind of embody her. But just writing a letter that reminds you of the person that you were and the person that you are desiring to become, and the energy that you want to embody right now in the present moment is just such a great way to remind yourself, like, hey, I've been through so much and look at where I am, and also I have a whole life ahead of me and I'm so excited to get to where I desire to be. So writing a letter to yourself is amazing. The next tip is to plan your holiday. Now, this does not have to be depressing, because I know in some countries we're still, you know, kind of like under restrictions and like we aren't able to go anywhere, but I love doing this. What I do is I literally go on Airbnb and I bookmark and wish list like different homes, like in different cities, and I don't know, but that just makes me happy. It almost like transports me to the city that I want to, you know, visit soon. So yeah, do this. Like, create an itinerary. Usually when I create an itinerary for traveling, it makes me so excited. I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to visit this and this and this. And so one of my favorite ways is definitely like bookmarking Airbnb homes, but it could be anything. It could be like, you know, planning a day in Rome, like seeing the history in Rome, or, you know, a food tour around Tokyo, let's say, because, you know, the food in Tokyo is delicious. So yes, plan your next itinerary, even though you don't know when you're gonna go on your holiday next, but just plan it for fun. The next tip is to bake. I don't have much to say about that. Literally just put your love, your heart and soul into whatever you're baking, and then you can eat something delicious at the end of it. All right, the next tip is to watch the sunrise or the sunset. I love this. There is nothing more beautiful than literally witnessing the sun come up and the sun go down. It also signifies like such an important thing. Like, when the sun rises, you're like, oh my god, I have literally the day ahead of me. Like, what a blessing to be alive and like to see the sunrise and be like, wow, thank you for another day. And it just reminds you, like, there's so much that I can do today that can get me closer to the life that I want, the person that I want to become. And yeah, I just feel like watching the sunrise makes me so happy. And also obviously seeing the colors and all that stuff, you know, taking photos again brings you back to the moment. All right, the next tip is to create a compliments list. So write down 5 things that you love about yourself. This is a great way to celebrate yourself, to compliment you. Sometimes we forget to compliment ourselves. Like, we always talk really great things about other people or other things that are happening in this world, but we just forget to kind of bring that energy back to ourselves and be like, what about me? Like, what did I do today that I'm proud of? Or what are some characteristics or traits about myself that I love? You know, so just writing 5 things that you love about yourself will kind of train your brain to see the good in you as well, not just in other people. All right, the next tip is to create your own DIY face mask. I love this. And what I love about this too is that for me, it kind of goes along with like learning something new. I've been learning so much about clean beauty and natural skincare, and I'm working more with like plants and herbs in my healing journey at this moment, especially medicinal mushrooms. So I was reading the other day about this one mushroom that is apparently known as like the beauty mushroom. It's called tremella, and I just bought the tremella extract. Or I guess if you're in this side of the world, it's called snow fungus or like white snow mushroom or something like that. But anyway, what I like to do is I take like a few teaspoons of it and I mix it with like pure rose water, and then I just put it on my face. And I don't know, like there's just something so soothing about taking care of yourself and especially your skin. Like it just makes me feel good. It makes me feel relaxed. And so yeah, create your own natural face mask and enjoy that. And also, I guess it's a good way to learn about different plants and herbs, right? Like using honey and I guess even oatmeal is really good for your skin, and roses. And okay, the last tip is to literally do nothing. Yeah, do nothing. Just enjoy not doing anything. I must admit, it has been a while since I've done this. I always associate self-care these days with doing something, or even if it's something as simple as like meditation. But I really want to get back into that feeling of, you know, being comfortable with that space of nothingness. Like even giving yourself 10 minutes or 15 minutes of just, you know, staring at the ceiling. And I know that your mind will kind of, you know, get activated when you're doing that, and that's fine as well. But I guess doing nothing is also a great way to be aware of like what comes up. So yeah, I definitely want to try that again, because usually when I don't have anything to do or when I feel bored, which by the way, it's good to feel bored every once in a while. I'm very rarely bored, but when I do feel that way, the first thing I want to do is like, oh, I want to, you know, look at TikTok, or I want to scroll through Instagram Reels. But yeah, that's just kind of like another way of me not being comfortable in nothingness. So definitely try to be comfortable with doing absolutely nothing, even if it's just 5 minutes. All right, so that was all the 15 self-care activities that you can do super, super easy. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. What are some of your favorite self-care activities? I would love to hear from you, because I'm building a loving, conscious community here on the channel. So please let me know if you liked this video and what other videos you would like me to make in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week. Bye.